Hi, welcome to the Adobe Think Tank here at Adobe Summit 2018. I am Cody Srnkovic, Head of Platform Partners and Strategy at Adobe, and I'm here with our guest Rob Seolas, from CEO and co-founder of ObservePoint. Thanks for joining us, Rob.
It's great to be here.
So Rob has been in the marketing technology business his entire career. And obviously a lot has changed in marketing technology. We're really talking about data today. So what's your perspective on data and how technology has changed the landscape in marketing?
Wow, is it different?
Yeah.
The amount of data and the volume of data and the data sources is just incredible. There used to be a time, I think, for a lot of web marketers where a simple counter, like how many web hits did I have, was the single metric that they had. And now the amount of information in front of them is just fantastic.
So our show and our approach to the market, our vision in the market, and message to the market is all about helping brands deliver experiences. Tell me about how data is integral to that.
Well, if you don't have the right data in the first place, right, you can't provide that more personalized experience. And I think consumers are coming to understand the ability of marketers to tailor a particular product or a campaign to them and to their needs. And they're almost coming to expect that. So brands have to be aware of that. They have to understand what data sources do we have, how do we provide a better consumer experience, how do we market better, how do we also make sure and maintain a relevant return on our investment as well.
So ObservePoint has a lot of amazing joint customers with Adobe. You've got a lot of world-class customers overall.
Yeah.
One of the themes of this show as well is Experience Maker. What does Experience Maker mean to you?
I think probably from the data quality standpoint, we're a data governance company. We think about providing the right experience requires an underlying foundation of quality data. I don't think anybody want to serve a grandma an ad for a new hairpiece, right? They want to do something that's relevant, that's refined, and particularly useful. I think consumers sometimes feel like, well, is this really helping me? And marketers, I think, have the best intentions to not just serve good products, but actually to provide the best experience. And that's what I think of an experience maker. Let's challenge and provide the best experience to our customer.
What are some examples of some of your customers that are leveraging the data capabilities of your products and of our joint products, where you've seen an experience maker change something at one of your customers?
Well, one of our joint customers is Marriott. And Marriott has seen the opportunity to engage with customers at a whole new level. As we saw yesterday in the keynote, the ability to personalize and help a customer pick the room that they would like, right? They like a particular view, or they want to be close to the elevator, they want a high floor or a low floor. And so be able to create that experience, you can only do that with a foundational good data governance practice, as most importantly, having the right tools at your disposal to use that.
So data governance, obviously a lot of noise in the market right now about privacy.
Sure.
A lot of things changing from a regulation and policy perspective in the market. I know GDPR is on the horizon for us all, but as a data governance company, that's got to be right on your radar. I know you're hosting a GDPR summit in Europe in a few months. What does GDPR mean to you? How do you see GDPR changing data for marketers and enabling or making challenges for marketers to deliver on an experience?
Well, it's really interesting because from my point of view, GDPR and data governance is the same thing. It's just called GDPR. That's what they just decided to name it. I think it's super interesting for brands to think about. This is not really, it's kind of like old wine in new bottle, as has been said before. I think it's only turned on its head in that companies now have a little bit higher requirement. And this is going to be a journey around GDPR. This is not a one-time event. You're not going to be, oh, we're GDPR compliance. Nobody really knows what that means yet. But it's changing the nature that you want to interact with the customer, change the nature of the way you value your brand and you value that information. And there's also a wide variance of what companies may or may not decide to do. A bank, for example, might have a lower level of risk in the way they want to implement GDPR protocols. At the same time, another company might say, we're okay with this because we understand how we're serving our customers. So I think it's going to be a journey, and it's going to be one that's going to be painful for some, but I think ultimately what's going to happen is a customer is going to have a better experience and better engagement, and the brands who leverage it appropriately, I think will actually have a huge advantage.
That brings up a great question. Is there opportunity in the transparency that these regulations are requiring, creating awareness for customers Do you feel like marketers are going to be able to, the ones that do it right, are they going to be able to take advantage of that and actually change their perception?
Yeah, I believe it will be. I believe it'll be a competitive advantage to have GDPR compliance in a way that allows you to better use the tools at your disposal and to better serve your customer and therefore increase the value of the brand and ultimately increase revenue.
We had NVIDIA on the stage earlier and had some amazing artificial intelligence and demos and talking about machine learning here. How are you seeing AI and machine learning actually impacting the market today? What does it look like for your users?
Well, it's so promising and so fascinating at the same time, but there's absolutely, in my view, a spectrum. There are companies right now that use AI already in effective ways, but what we see with a lot of our customers is there's a core competency around digital marketing, and if you don't really have that core competency working and that core practice, it's very difficult to leverage some of the more complicated technologies like AI. In the future, probably a lot easier, but right now there's a lot of work to do.
So customers are still getting through that maturity curve with all of the options with marketing technology available to them.
Sure.
Fast forward, let's do some speculation, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do you feel like AI and machine learning will be as far as an impact on these experience makers' daily lives?
Well, since I have a perfect crystal ball, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. I think, example, what Brad talked about a little bit yesterday, the ability to shorten the marketing process. I think practical uses will be some of the first things that we see AI and machine learning for, and then we'll be able to leverage it into a lot more complicated processes. I think right now, if we could figure out a way to just use it to make our work life a little bit simpler, that's where people say, wow, we can just use this and this makes my life easier. I don't have to do this process myself. Software, and a much more intelligent version of software, AI, is ultimately meant to make our lives easier and better, and I think that will be the first applications that we see.
Great, amazing topic, data. It's super compelling to hear your thoughts on it. Thanks a lot for joining us today. And thanks everyone out in the audience. Thanks for joining us at the Adobe Think Tank.